Greetings. My name is Letitia Hensley, and I'm the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools Director of Family and Community Engagement. We are excited that you are joining us today and know you will gain great insight from this session. At the conclusion of today's session, please provide feedback so that we can continue to support you with amazing sessions that will be provided throughout the year. Now, without further ado, we'll turn it over to our presenters.
Good afternoon, CMS families. Thank you for joining today's CMS Family Academy Lunch and Learn. Welcome to your library. We have two fabulous presenters today. Ms. Snyder from CMS Digital Resources will be sharing about all of the wonderful CMS library resources that we have available in the district. And we'll also have Ms. Farmer from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Library, who will be sharing about the plethora of information available. Please make sure to sign into today's session using the bit.ly that's displayed on the screen, and that has also been included in the Q&A, bit.ly/Family Academy sign-in. There's also today's slide deck included in the Q&A. If you're in need of translation support on today's call, please select Captions in the top right-hand corner of your screen. From there, in the drop-down, please select Show Live Captions, then select the language of your choosing. Once again, Captions, Show Live Captions, and then please select the language of your choosing from the drop-down. And we are excited to engage with you today. Throughout today's presentation, if you have any questions, please submit them through the Q&A to be answered by our fabulous presenters. And we also will have a react feature available on today's call. Please give us a thumbs up, a heart, or a clap emoji if you have any aha or wow moments as we engage in today's session. And at this time, I'm excited to turn it over to our fabulous presenters.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our presentation called Welcome to the Library. We are excited to have you join us today. This presentation is a collaboration between our CMS Digital Learning and Library Services Department and the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. My name is Cami Snyder, and I am one of our district's curriculum and instructional specialists in the Library Services Department. And I'd like to introduce you to my colleague next.
Hello, everybody. My name is Elise Farmer, and I am our Library Program Coordinator for Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. So excited to be here and to partner with CMS Library Services for this presentation.
This is our agenda for today's program. After a brief introduction, we'll look at our CMS library resources, the public library resources, and then we'll have some time for your questions at the end of the presentation. So to begin with, we'd like to know who is joining us today. We're going to use the React button. If you have a student in an elementary school, if you would select the thumb up. If you have a middle schooler, use the heart emoji. A high schooler, the clap emoji. And if you have students in multiple levels, use the laugh emoji. Take a moment to share a little bit about your student level in CMS.
Excellent. Looks like we have a wide range of ages, which is perfect because our presentation is going to be focused on all sorts of resources for K-12 students and their families. So we thought we would start today with an introduction of just what library resources are available for our students and children, and then why should we utilize public and school library resources.
So what libraries are available? We have our CMS School Library Media Centers, and our students are able to visit the Media Center to check out books, receive instruction, to attend and participate in special programs. And these schedules vary by school, and we'll talk more about what that looks like at the elementary and secondary level later in the presentation.
And so then after your school's media center, the other main library you can access is our public library system. And so Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library, we have 21 separate public library locations to visit in Mecklenburg County. We'll describe a little bit more of those also further in the presentation. And so we want to share why we think it's important. We hope you'll agree with us that libraries, of course, provide that extra support to strengthen your child's reading proficiency. They provide extra practice that helps strengthen those reading skills that are so needed. We also offer resources that connect directly to what your child is learning in school. Libraries connect what students are learning in class with all of those extra resources that you can use to supplement that learning at home. Visiting the library also helps spark that curiosity, fosters a genuine love of reading, and one trip can really turn reading into something your child really enjoys. And best of all, of course, everything about libraries, whether it's your school or the public library, everything is free. So free books, free programs, and free support for families. So now I'll turn it over to Cami so she can share all about our CMS library resources.
So I am excited to tell you about our library, our resources and programs in Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. First and foremost, our children are our most valuable resource. Our district library services team and staff across our media centers want each student to feel welcomed in every one of our libraries across the district. Our library spaces are for nurturing the whole child, to foster the development of reading, a love of reading, a place for investigation and discovery and research and exploration with inquiry and finding materials that support individual student interest, to help students with gaining the skills they need to be employed, enlisted, or enrolled by the time they leave CMS in the 12th grade. We have maker spaces in our media centers. We use technology, and students are learning how to use technology responsibly. And we also offer a variety of wonderful programming activities throughout our libraries and CMS. So a few facts. Many of you may know some of these already. We have 186 schools in CMS, and we serve over 141,000 students. Last year, our CMS libraries, we had over 1 million print circulations in our libraries last year. We also offer an ebook platform that we'll talk about more. We circulated almost 2 million ebooks in the 2024-2025 school year. And then through our partnership with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library that we call One Access, our students accessed the virtual digital resources of the public library, and we had over 73,000 of our students take advantage of that last year. We have resources for CMS libraries on a couple places on the CMS website. And this year, CMS did a redesign of the websites. You may have noticed some changes to your school's website. Our library resources can be found on every school's individual school website, as well as the district website. And we're going to take a look at those now. There is the link to our digital learning and library services resource page. And there's a place for parents to contact us with questions. And as you scroll down, you'll see One Access with some information about that. And that is our partnership with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. One number equals access. And students are able to access these resources using their CMS student ID number. So there's information there. Then our ebook platform is Sora. And there is a link to the Sora setup and user guide for families and information on how to log in to that resource. And then finally, Follett Destiny is the online catalog that we use for print circulation across the district. And there is a link there with information for families on how parents can access those resources. That's our district resource page. Now we're going to take a look at how you can locate your school's specific catalog. Once you're on the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School District site, you're going to click on Our Schools. And you need to look at the list based on your child's level, elementary, middle, high school, K-8, and then navigate to your school. Our example is Albemarle Road Elementary. Once you locate your child's school, you're going to look at the image that will be on the screen, and there's some arrows. Elise is pointing to those right now. You'll click the arrow until you see the image that shows the next part, School Library Resources. And then on that page, there's a button that says Access Library Resources here. This is going to take you to each school's individual collection of resources. So this is a very small screen grab. There is a link to contact our department, Library Services. There is also a button that's new this year based on recent state legislation where you have access to classroom library information. So each school now has a spreadsheet where each classroom teacher that has classroom library materials is uploading or in the process of uploading those titles to the spreadsheet. So if you're interested in what books are available in your child's classroom libraries, you would access that button. If you have any questions about the classroom library materials, you want to reach out to your child's teacher or someone at the school. Then as you go down the page, you see the One Access button again, the Sora button, and then you get to the Follett Destiny button. Let's talk a minute about Sora. So Sora, again, is our district's ebook platform. The students have access to Sora and Destiny and One Access, all three of these resources through our CMS Student Launchpad. So if they're using a device at school, they're going to get to those resources through the Launchpad. If you have your student on a device at home and you go through the CMS Launchpad, you can use the same login procedure at home. If you're on a personal device, you can download the app and also bookmark the website for these three resources. For One Access, if parents are not wanting students to have access, there is a an option for you to opt out of that. For Sora, the vendor is working on parental controls, so you have access to the books that your child is reading. Those controls are in process. And then finally, Follett Destiny, new this year. Parents have always been able to access the catalog, but there are added parental controls where you can go in and block certain titles from your child, and then that will be seen by the librarian or media center staff on their end. So now let's talk about what you can expect in elementary media centers. So across the district, there are regularly scheduled instruction, weekly, bi-weekly, or on a rotation, depending on each individual school, and that depends on staffing and enrollment numbers. So some of our very large schools, students might not visit the library every single week. It may be every 6, 7, 8, or 9 days, depending on the number of students and classes and staff. Most of our students will have a weekly library time that's part of a specials rotation. Some schools call it Encore or Connect or Enrichment. Just like they would go to art, music, or PE, they would go to the media center and receive instruction. During this time, students will also have the opportunity to check out books. And that is something that's really important for parents of elementary students to know, to help you help your child make sure they return their books on their library day. Our books are set to a 2-week circulation period. Most students bring them back weekly and trade for new books on a weekly basis. And they also have the opportunity to renew their books through the Destiny website. And if they're logged into their device, you can help them with that and keep track of what they have checked out and what those due dates are. In the elementary level, book return is primarily managed by the staff. It may be the children's teacher. When they come as a class, they'll bring their books down, and the media center staff will check those in. Some schools have what we call open checkout. There's some flexibility in the schedule. Oftentimes that is during morning arrival. The media center is open for any students who have a pass or teacher permission to come down and exchange books. And that helps those students who are avid readers to be able to get library books more than just at their one scheduled class time per week. Also in our elementary libraries, in addition to instruction and circulation, students are offered a variety of programs, and those vary from school to school based on staffing and student interest. Some of those programs might be book clubs. It might be something called Battle of the Books. You may have heard of that. We have book fairs. We have shared programs with the public library that we do on an annual basis. And Ms. Farmer is going to talk more about that. We also have different reading incentive or reading challenges that some of our staff do at each school. So there are lots of opportunities for your students to engage with the library and the library resources at the elementary level. Also, if you have an elementary student, we do have a K-5 media curriculum. And this is something that incorporates the North Carolina Digital Learning Standards, and it supports the English Language Arts content standards. Our instruction focuses on one big idea each quarter, and this is what the quarters look like throughout the year. Who am I as a reader? is the first quarter, and students are learning about what resources are available in their library, both in the print collection and in the digital collection. So our libraries are both physical and virtual spaces. Second quarter, our big idea is, who am I as a digital citizen? And students are learning about digital citizenship. And along with that, this year, there is beginning instruction about artificial intelligence. And third quarter, the big idea is, what makes a book great? Our students learn about a different children's book award at each grade level. And they start to pay attention to author craft and what makes particular authors and book titles engaging. Our fourth quarter curriculum is, how can I use research to create? And so we do some research skills and incorporate maker activities during the fourth quarter. Now, instruction varies across the district depending on schedules and staffing. Again, some students don't receive instruction on a weekly basis. They may see the media specialist every other week. And some schools have magnet themes, and their particular activities may differ slightly from other schools. And if you have specific questions about what instruction looks like at your child's school, please reach out to your media specialist at your child's school. Now, let's talk about secondary media centers. Secondary media center programs look a little different than elementary. Most of our secondary programs operate on what we call a flexible access. That means your students are not going to the media center on a set day at a set time. The access is flexible, and it varies by school when open checkout is. Some classes are scheduled for particular projects, for orientation, for research, and the librarians work with classroom teachers to schedule those classes in the media center. The checkout period is the same as elementary. Students have the opportunity to check out books, and those are due every 2 weeks. They can renew those and manage them in their Destiny account. And students at the secondary level check out and return their books themselves. They are not relying on the teacher to help manage that. Again, the instruction is flexibly scheduled. There are programming opportunities offered in our secondary schools, just like elementary, and those vary from school to school. Book clubs, Battle of the Books, reading challenges, and shared programming that we do with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. Also, some of our secondary schools have what we call a help desk course, and these students take that as a class. The media coordinator is the teacher, and those students work on a pathway. Some of them are learning how to be student library aides. Some of it is tech based, where students are helping with tech needs at the school and managing some of those device needs. It varies from school to school. And again, if you have questions about that, reach out to your school's media coordinator. And then just to recap, for our elementary programs, our circulation and instruction is mostly on a fixed schedule. We have age-appropriate curated print and digital resources and age-appropriate programming opportunities. And then on the secondary level, again, our instruction and circulation are done on a flexible schedule. And again, we have age-appropriate curated print and digital resources and programming opportunities. Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thanks so much, Cami, for sharing all those resources. So in addition to those great resources provided at the school level, the public library also offers resources that I'll share a little bit more about right now. Starting, of course, with where you can access our library locations. So as I mentioned before, there are 21 libraries that make up our Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library public library system. You'll see them mapped out for you here. The goal is for every resident in our county to have a library within 5 miles of their home. So if you don't see a library very close to you, know that planning is underway to build one for you very soon. 7 of these locations are larger. We kind of call them regional libraries, with a much larger destination children's library uptown at, we call that Imaginon at the Joe and Joan Martin Center. There's a lot of special programming events that happen there throughout the year that we'll talk about more in a little bit, but that space also shares a space with the Children's Theater of Charlotte. All of the other remaining libraries are what we call neighborhood or community libraries that you'll see listed here. And these just, again, have kind of that community and neighborhood feel. They're a little bit smaller and a lot of times are nestled in the heart of a community or neighborhood, but all of the resources, programs, and services that I'm about to share can be accessed at any of our 21 library locations. So then let's think about some library cards. So all students, as Cami mentioned, have a library card automatically. We call it one access. That just means one number equals access, meaning that every child's student ID number is their library card number. And so the child or the teen doesn't need a separate card. They automatically have access to the public library system. And you'll see here, those one access accounts allow your student to borrow 10 print or audio books. That allows them to access our digital materials like ebooks, magazines, videos, music, resources, and then also access those library research databases and electronic resources. But of course, if you want an actual physical card, some people like that, students like that, you are welcome to stop by any library to get your own physical card. And parents and caregivers, of course, on the call, we hope you have a physical card as well. So then what can you access with your library account, your one access account? Their possibilities are endless for sure. I've grouped them into these 3 resources here, but it would take me much longer than our presentation to kind of go through every single resource that you could access with your one access or library account. So the 3 that I thought were most applicable for all of our students are ebooks and audiobooks, like Cami mentioned before. These are 3 other resources that we have access to called Hoopla, NC Kids Digital Library, and Tumble Books, which are kind of some animated talking picture books, which is perfect for your shared reading time. The library also provides resources for projects and additional learning. You'll see some of them here, something called Scholastic Go, something called Pebble Go, something called Just for Kids Access Video, and Canopy Kids. So, if your child has a question about anything, there's a resource for it to be able to find that answer and spark your child's curiosity. These are some other video streaming platforms, and it's great to just supplement that learning in the classroom. We also have an entire suite of library databases for accessing research articles on any topic, perfect for essay writing or projects that your child may have. And a lot of the resources are curated by grade level, so access is for each level. And I would just want you to encourage you to explore some of these resources with your child. Use these curated educational resources available for free that we have with our public library for projects, as they are curated a much safer and kind of more informative option than just exposing your child to the whole World Wide Web with Google. So the biggest resource too, I wanted to make sure everyone was aware about is something that our library system provides called tutor.com. Tutor.com is a free online professional tutoring service. So certified tutors are employed through this site in any subject K through 12. And so with your child's One Access library account, you just create an account online on this service and log on to the resource to get 15 free live professional tutoring sessions weekly. And so it's open every single day from 3 to 11 p.m. and it's offered in English and in Spanish. So we really need to take advantage of this service. Just go online after you create that account, then you can click any subject and be on demand with a tutor right there. Every parent or caregiver should know about this resource and really take advantage of it. There's also essay review. There's also a way for you to submit some essays and get help even with the college admissions process. So many things to take advantage of there. And I'm going to show you in just a second exactly how we can access all of these resources. So our website is cmlibrary.org, and all of these resources your child would access with CMS, that acronym CMS, plus the student ID number, and then their PIN is going to be their 4-digit birth date. So July 4th would be 0704. So let me show you, this is our library website. You'll see here, usually we just have kind of a spotlight on the front page. September is library card sign up month, so perfect that we're doing this presentation this month. But you'll see there's several ways to access all these resources. If you go to services at the top, you'll be able to click on student services. And then when you get to student services, you'll see elementary, middle, and high. And those are broken down into all of these, the great resources kind of curated by those three different levels. But you'll see tutor.com is right there listed up top for you to access right there. If you wanted to see like yourself as an adult, just the whole vast amount of resources you could access, I would invite you to go to the Research and Learn tab at the top, and then you could either search for a resource or just click this A to Z list. Do you see here? All of these resources are available for access with your library card. Beyond just for your student, there's things that you as an adult may be interested in, such as learning a new language or even resume review, or so many different things that, again, it's so hard to explain, like Learning Express. So if you want to learn new, lots of a different skill, there's just so many things that we need to, I would invite you to explore there on our website. And so then thinking about now inside our library location, some programming that we offer free, again, for students. So these are our two big programs for elementary school students. The first being our Reading Buddies program. So this is, again, all library locations. It's a one-on-one 30-minute appointment one time a week for students to read with a trained volunteer. And this is all about spreading the joy and power of reading. So that child comes in, they bring a book of their choice. Of course, they can select it in the library, and then they're reading aloud, and these volunteers are trained in best practices for reading aloud with children. And then our second opportunity that we would invite students to come in for help is something called homework help. And that is open in the afternoons at library locations. There's usually a 2-hour window, and a trained volunteer is just sitting there ready and waiting to take in students for homework skills, so homework help, skills practice, or connecting to a library resource. So such as connecting to that professional live tutoring with tutor.com, our homework help volunteers can get you set up with that as well. So take advantage of that. And then as far as our secondary, middle, high school students, we have a whole programming suite called College and Career Connections. These are for teens. So we offer guidance on exploring career paths, applying to college, and even preparing for jobs. So it's all about helping these students feel ready and confident for their future, for their next step. And so a lot of these are going to be programs and resources to help teens explore their career paths. We partner with the College Foundation of North Carolina and the Princeton Review to be able to provide some of these free programs for students. So there's everything from SAT prep courses or I can't even describe so many of them, so many different opportunities for teens to get prepared for their next step in life. We also have something called the Take the Roadmap to Success challenge that you see here. And this is really cool. It kind of launches every October. So coming up really soon that your child is able to go online and take this challenge. So there's little challenges that they are invited to do to think about what's the next step for them. And when they complete the challenge, they're able to be enrolled in lots of cool prizes. So all these programs, we hope, help build students' skills and confidence for their future. But then beyond our educational support programs, there are vast amounts of other programs that are free that happen at all library locations all throughout the week and on the weekends. You'll find all of these programs at cmlibrary.org/events. So you'll see the whole calendar of all of our events that are happening, and you could even filter on the side by grade level, not by grade level, by age level, and by what you're interested in as well. So just some examples, for children might be some hands-on STEAM activities, art clubs, writing groups, book clubs. We even have Pause to Read where kids can come read to dogs to develop those reading skills, spark curiosity, and we hope that we are trying to make learning fun for kids. And then for teens, there's author visits, presenters, gaming programs, creative writing, art programs to give teens support, and we hope guidance for their future, and of course that safe space to explore their interests. And then there's programs for you too, as parents out there. And we hope you'll take advantage of these. These just strengthen what your child's learning at school so you can learn things about your children, or just things for you to enjoy, like book clubs and writing clubs yourself. We just hope that the library is that safe, welcoming place where children, teens, and you as the caregiver can learn, grow, and connect with others. So speaking of resources for parents, these are just a few of them. I've mentioned some of them already, but we hope you'll take advantage of books, magazines, newspapers, any newspaper you would like or any magazine you would like. You can access it online with a free library card. We have online learning platforms like Universal Class or LinkedIn Learning. So if you're looking to learn a new skill, and we also have language learning, like I mentioned. So if you're trying to learn a new language, it's kind of like a Rosetta Stone that you can access with your library card. And then we have a series of workshops called Active Reading and Read Together workshops where we come out to CMS schools. And so if you're interested in that, we would invite you to tell your child's school to invite us to come over for on-site workshops. And then as Cami mentioned, we do have some annual programs in partnership with CMS. And so these are kind of the big four, and I'll just explain a little bit about each. Community Read is a program where we invite everyone in our community to read the same title of the same book. We provide lots of programming during this time and visits from the author as well, just to build that community connection, encourage dialogue, and promote literacy and support lifelong learning. The next programs, DIA and Epic Fest, are held at Imaginon. Remember that flagship destination library that I told you about? These encourage children and teens to foster a love of reading. We have guest presenters, authors, fun activities for children, and of course, lots and lots of books. If you haven't been to DIA or Epic Fest, put that on your calendar for this year. So DIA is in April every year, and Epic Fest is in November. So save the date, November 8th. It's coming up on Saturday for this free festival. And then lastly, the library provides a summer reading program every year as an incentive for students to continue reading when the school year is over. Children and teens are invited to track their reading, and the library provides fun incentives such as tickets to Hornets or the Charlotte FC games, free Wendy's coupons, lots of ways to just keep your child motivated over the summer to continue reading. So don't forget about this for next summer. And so hopefully by now you've seen the vast amount of resources you have for your child in the public library, but then also in our school library media centers. And so we cannot thank you enough for coming to our presentation today. And I think we're going to turn it back over to Molly for some questions.
Thank you so much to Elise and Cami for sharing such wonderful information about all of those resources that our libraries have to offer. We do have a few questions in the Q&A. The first of which is the help desk course only for older students?
Yes, excuse me, that is primarily at the high school level. I believe there are a couple of middle schools that have a help desk course. It is not something that we offer for elementary students. This is a class that students would sign up for as an elective at the secondary level. I hope that answers the question.
I believe so. Thank you so much. And families, another reminder that to please sign in for today's session. It is pinned in our Q&A, and if you have any remaining questions, you're welcome to submit them in the Q&A. Our next question is, I have a first grader. Do they have access to IXL?
So the district has a list of approved digital platforms, and unfortunately, there are a number of them. I don't have all of those memorized. I don't believe, I don't want to misspeak. I don't believe it is on an approved list this year, but I can find out for you. Each school's leadership would be able to let you know what digital platforms are used for remediation, enrichment, et cetera. And if you have an opportunity to look at your child's Launchpad, you'll see the resources on there for the students. And anything above that, you would need to contact your child's teacher or administrator.
Thank you. The final question that I'm seeing at this time is, how do I log into my student's One Access account?
So, Elise, I'm not sure if you're able to pull up the site, and I can talk you through that. If your child is at school or logging in through the CMS Launchpad, once they've entered in their Launchpad login, and again, passwords are reset each year, so you may have to check with your child's teacher regarding the Launchpad login. Once they're in the Launchpad, they click on the One Access button, and it's going to take them to that site. So from One Access, if you have an elementary, middle, or high school student and they want to click on a resource, as long as they're not a first-time user, you click on the resource that you're interested in. So we could say Tumble Books, Access Now, and the student would be prompted to enter the letters CMS and their student ID number. Most of our students, that's a 10-digit number, and it's their Infinite Campus number, formerly Power School, in years past.
Yeah, since I'm on the library network right now, it prompts me and it goes automatically to any resource that I want. But yes, you'd get a pop-up box. And again, it's that CMS plus the student ID number.
And there's no spaces. And students are only prompted to log in for the first resource that they access at a given time. It does time out after a while. But if your child is brand new to the district, there are a few additional first-time user login questions, and you can go up to that My Account button. It's got the little circle with the person icon, and this is the place where you would need to enter the birth date, which is 2-digit for month, 2-digit for day. And if you're a first-time user, the student would need to select a color and then animal. And that is for privacy. We're not sharing their personal identifiable information, and get their account set up. And that is only for our first-time users, pre-K, kindergartners, or students who are coming from another district and entering CMS for the first time. I hope that helps answer that question.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you again to our presenters for such great information. We have answered all of the questions within our Q&A today. Thank you, CMS families, for joining us and engaging in today's Lunch and Learn session. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a wonderful day.